A country-like setting in the heart of London. They're getting education under ideal conditions.
When I was at school, it was a fucking nightmare. I can't think of any other way of describing how traumatic the whole thing was. I knew that I wasn't like my friends or my classmates, and they also knew I was a bit different. And in the brutal jungle of childhood, the moment that children find there's a difference, they massacre you. And the way that I coped with it was to be difficult, was to be an absolute nightmare. And so what that actually meant is that I spent most of the time outside the classroom at the headmaster's office. And in a sense, that was better than being stuck in the humiliating situation. And the awful thing about it is that not even the adults, i.e. the teachers, had any understanding of dyslexia, because everything else about me seemed to be quite normal. The fact that I couldn't do the basics, they then put that down to having an attitude or being ill-disciplined. They just didn't actually see that as the guy suffering with some sort of issues. I have no qualifications to my name. I still have to have people read my emails, rewrite my emails. I still make mistakes that I'm still embarrassed by, that I could read something 50 times and then somebody points out, well, you haven't put an S in the end, you haven't put an A in the end. It still happens. If I had to do online dating, I wouldn't stand a goddamn chance, because they'd look at what I wrote and they'd think this guy's as thick as shit, basically. Well, why am I confident? Because what tends to happen with a lot of dyslexic people is that they lose their confidence. For me, my confidence came through the one thing that I sort of developed through time is that I'm very creative. I spent a lot of time working in the BBC, traveled the world making food programs, and no one could ever touch me when it came to sort of creativity. So I found that one thing. And what I'm always saying to people who have dyslexic children, don't waste your time trying to get them to bloody read and write and all that sort of stuff. It's important. The big investment is to put into the talent that they have, that one thing that they could own. Now that I'm in my 60s, I have a very keen understanding of what dyslexia is. But back in the day, when I was really suffering from it, and I just thought I was the most stupid, thick person there was. But as I look back at my life and to see all of the things that I've achieved.
Mr. Wilfred Emmanuel-Jones for services to British farming.
I would never have been to achieve those things if I wasn't dyslexic. It's given me the ability to think outside the box, to challenge the way that normal things happen. It's the greatest gift you could be given as a human being. And I absolutely believe that there's going to become a time where everybody's going to be desperately searching to be able to give themselves dyslexic credentials, because it will be seen as a gift. It's organizations like yours that are going to bring about the change. The established organization, it's not in their interest to bring about change, because actually it's a system that they understand. If somebody turned around to them and says, you've all got it wrong, you've got to change it. That's too much to bear. And that eventually over time, people like you are going to bring about that revolution.